What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Teenage Hurdles, the podcast. Today I'm joined with my buddy Nikesh.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, buddy, it's been a long day. This is the third take.
It's pretty rough. We have we got our reconciliation bananas going.
This is the third take. After our first two takes, after recording for like 30 minutes each, became messed up. The audio just stuffed up. It became some like alien hacks.
Yep.
What I don't even know, dude.
Facts.
But it's like, okay, I can't swear. Okay, never mind. Anyways, but today, what we're gonna be talking about is all about mental health, and I guess just feeling pretty good or feeling pretty bad in our day-to-day lives as teenagers. And I think this extends pretty well because at the moment we're feeling pretty down.
Yep.
If you're watching on video, you can see that me and Nikesh are both holding a banana each,
100%.
chomping away because we are
cracking them open.
We are derived energy. We went through a lot of heartbreak and
hardship.
when we saw the audio just got corrupted.
Yeah, it's a recession.
Recession, yes.
Yep.
But it's all good because we're here now. And hopefully, if you're listening to this, it pulled through. And if you're not listening to this, that's an L. But you are listening to this, so
no, if you're listening to
fine.
this, yeah,
you are.
It's collective shared trauma.
We gotta keep focus. I meant not focus. Hope. Yes.
Stick to it.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think. Wait, do you want to say something?
I mean,
sorry.
I guess a good. Okay, let's just get into it.
Yeah.
I guess like a good intro, to all of this is just I don't know how hard year 12 is kind of hitting, and like the fact that like all of us will probably be like kind of overwhelmed by like the whole assessment system and like how assessments have gone so far, and how the workload's tracking. I think like year 11 was a pretty big wake up call for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Especially for me, but I don't think I really woke up to the call until like this term. And so I guess like the whole point of this is just to say that like it's okay to not be okay. You're entitled to like all your feelings.
Yeah.
And like the best way to like handle like all the bad times is just kind of expressing them like in this podcast.
Yeah. Another chomp of the banana. Yeah.
Yeah, more banana.
But so basically what inspired me to start this, or to talk about this episode, was because Nikesh, like 2 weeks ago, or I don't know, 3 weeks ago, when we started school, Nikesh wasn't, feeling 100%. He was a little bit down. He wasn't that motivated and, 100% focused person that he usually is. And basically I just asked Nikesh, oh, what's up? And without hesitance, Nikesh just pulled through and literally just said everything on his mind, what he was going through, the emotions, some of the things that just wasn't going, the way that he hoped to.
Yeah.
But what really stood out to me was the fact that he really openly just said, I've started, talking to someone. I've started talking to a psychologist. Therapist, yeah. And that just really, really inspired me because I feel like with us, kids our age, or, even older, young men, there's a pretty big stigma, I think, around this kind of thing of mental health.
Yeah.
And there's just this big expectation that we should always feel okay. Yeah. We should always have an open and smiling face.
Yeah. But
I guess that's not always the case.
Yeah, like a smiling face doesn't necessarily mean that like you're doing good on the inside. And so what I guess helped me, kind of open up to Henry, open up to like some of the other boys, is just like knowing that it's like a two-way street. I surround myself with like a lot of good people. I think I did that like kind of subconsciously, but I surrounded myself with a lot of good people, Mr. Yinkicks, and all the clutch people around me. It's a two-way street. Like if you've got very open friends that are easy to talk to, that's a good thing. You surround yourself with good people, you'll be able to express yourself a lot better. And that's probably part of why I was able to open up in the way that I did. It's like, I guess, like kind of inspiring when you see someone say something nice to someone else. You know?
Yeah, like that snowball effect of you be nice to someone else, they'll be nice to another person.
Gratitude,
exactly. That feeling of gratitude. don't choke.
The banana.
Yeah, no. I mean, with gratitude, that's something we're always taught about at school from the get go, from year 7. Oh, we should be grateful for the things we have. We got to practice it. We got to be really happy about the things that we have. Do we learn that in like WLF or like PHP?
Something like that. But like, I
was like, why are we learning this crap? Why don't you teach us how to, teach trigonometry?
Yeah, facts. I'm good.
yeah.
That's like that's literally what we'd be saying. Like, this is like year 11. This is like the hardest year ever. Yeah. And they'll be telling us things like gratitude and how it makes you feel better, and then it makes people around you feel better. And it's something so easy to just like brush it off because the tough times that we're going through.
Yeah.
And so I guess just kind of concentrating more on the fact that gratitude, less on the fact that gratitude is just like a good thing and something that like is unrealistic, and more learn about how you can get there, because it is actually a good thing. And there's a lot of things like that we get taught about in school without really a means to get there. So yeah, there's a bunch of strategies towards that, like in towards like building up your ability to like open out and share your feelings, and gratitude, I guess, is just like a side benefit from all this. And so just like from me, I guess, year 11 and 12 hit extra hard just because all the previous years I'd always been chasing like the straight A's, like there's academic awards that they really like, your friends around you will like really give you a pat on the back if you do that. And it is a bit of pressure. And I think that's something that I've had from my parents, from my friends from a very young age, is just chasing like really high marks. And so year 11 hit hard. They were telling us things like, have gratitude if you're feeling down. Yeah. And it was something that I guess kind of brushed off, saying that, how is that relevant to me? Yeah. Like I'm going through really tough crap and I need, study tips. I need some...
No, 100%.
Yeah, like I need to start using like, Pomodoro techniques and all of this. And that's what's stopping me from like feeling better. But it really, that's like the microcosm. That's like something that you kind of do once you get your personal things in order.
Yeah. I think that's something we both very much realized.
Yeah.
Our solutions to life isn't just constantly, to get better at studying, learning study techniques. There's so many other things like you talked about. And of those, mental health, that's the huge one. Like studying isn't the only thing that's a part of our high school life. There's so many other opportunities. Yeah. We're always taught about, take as many opportunities as possible during your time here at our school. Join the clubs, do sport, go out and watch the Friday night games.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely for me, I never, took those opportunities as big enough.
Yeah, and I think there's like a reason behind that is because, I don't know, when you're struggling with year 11 and 12, that's like the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah.
Like it feels like an extra burden. And what you have to realize is, kind of having a balance is something that's going to help you way more in the long term. Like it's something that's going to help you in life, not just high school.
Yeah.
This isn't the be all and end all.
Yeah.
So working on like your mindset and your personality as like a human being over your marks is often like the right answer when you're feeling down. And so things like gratitude, just say thank you to parents once in a while. They'll feel better for it. They might reciprocate it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And with your friends as well, if they do something that's very personally nice to you, give them a personal compliment about it back. Like say why you're appreciative of them. And then they'll feel better for it. You'll feel better for it. And then like it's like a continuous cycle that spreads to everyone. Things like gratitude, and then what else is there? Like communication, like open communication. Like
having that trust.
Yeah, and like I guess being able to read when your friend isn't being himself. Like know all the sides to your friends. Like it's very easy to just see your friend as like, oh, that guy's play basketball, that guy is like the study genius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very easy to just categorize them, but to become a better friend overall and like kind of give them that outlet if they're feeling down, like try to understand them a bit more.
Yeah.
Understand their personal life in that.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, like, talking about what you just talked about, you know, having that great social circle around you,
Yeah.
and, you know, having that good skill and social awareness of how your friends are going, how they're really coping with everything that they're going through.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really important skill to have.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for me, and I think with you as well, Nikesh, it's like, obviously, all the things that we're going through internally, our emotions, it's not just put out at the forefront for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
Especially for the good people around you who genuinely want to help you out.
Yeah. And like, I guess like having those good people around you, like that's something that like even you contribute to someone else's life. So like if you're like a good friend, make it known. Like ask if like they're okay just on a regular basis. Don't make it seem like, oh, you look down, so therefore I need to check on you. Like make it seem less rigid. You know what I mean? Don't wait for like a massive sign to check up on someone. Just do it on like a regular basis. I think that's something that will make you like a lot better, like a much better friend. And I guess overall, it'll let you see the other sides to people, because it's very easy to just, you know, just float on the surface level stuff, and then it takes a lot more like emotional you know, depth to be able to explore what's underneath all that. And yeah, so I guess like just kind of propagate it to your friends that like, you know, you're someone that can be talked to. Like, if they're feeling down, just like tell them, just like literally say, if you're ever down, just like give me a call. That's something there. That's building a support network. Like, straight up. And so yeah, if you're doing that for other people, you're also doing it for yourself. So it's like this network that you're kind of building. With a friend can talk to a friend, can talk to a friend. If they're ever feeling down, you got like 3 people to turn to that you know you can trust fully. So yeah, just like that mutual connection helps you and other people. And I think I've definitely seen that.
But I think like you said about checking on your good friends regularly. I think along with that, you should, although make it extremely clear that, okay, look, I'm here for you. I'm someone you can trust. But also I think you should have that sense of normalcy. Instead of, you know, constantly checking on them. Like you talked about, like they're someone inferior. Like, oh, you okay? Like babying them. Just to be a good friend, I think you have to have that conscious awareness.
You gotta show that you're someone that they can trust, and then let them make the decision whether they want to tell you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that just comes like with being like a better person to the people around you. Like if you just like say like very personal compliments all the time, and like express gratitude, you know, share the fun and bad moments with people, and don't just like fold on them whenever something tough comes up. I feel like that gives you like that mutual like trust, and that's like the only thing that you need in order to communicate. But trust is something that's very hard to get. So yeah, just constantly like, you know, doing things that like, you know, keeping the secrets that they tell you. You know, things like that make you a much more trustworthy person. And it's a two-way street. So if you show them that you can like, if they invest some information personal to them in you, the same thing can happen the other way. Like if you're feeling down, then now you've got that that very profound connection.
Definitely.
And
I feel like I've always had that you know, natural care for other people. You know, for the people around me who are close, the people that I love. I, you know, very much like genuinely have that true care and want to make everyone feel good.
That's a good thing.
But yeah, I think but you know, if I can't be able to use that genuine feeling properly and, you know, impose proper strategies, then there's no point. And that's something I want to do better at. Like you know, for example, with you, you were going through a bit of a rough patch. And so I was thinking to myself, how can I be a good friend? How can I be there for you, you know, when you needed me? And that's what I wanted to learn more about.
I think you'd already built up that whole trust thing, like for a long time. You know, you're someone that gave a very like based opinion. You didn't like really dramatize anything. You didn't like extremify anything. You kind of just gave like a very valid, you know, kind of advice, and like, you know, not to like overthink about anything, and not to let yourself spiral out, and like calm yourself back, and do some stuff that like you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just by genuinely like telling me that, like you didn't have to do much to tell me that, but by generally telling me that over like it doesn't even take that long.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, like, you know, showing that you're someone that can be trusted. That was the step that you need to take in order for me to make that counter step into opening up.
Yeah, it was I think it was I forgot which day it was. It was like a day before my maths assessment or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that day I don't know if it was like you got your English results back or something. Oh, like you just did your English test.
Yeah.
And that was like the worst I've seen you.
Yeah. Oh damn.
And that night,
Yeah.
even though I was like studying really hard for my maths test, I was like,
yeah,
damn, I should probably check up on Nikesh.
Yeah.
So I sent you a text.
Yeah.
And even though it was just like a little bit of you know, energy.
And I think the fact that I was able to recognize, I don't think I recognized it as much then, the fact that you're reaching out and you're actually like consciously taking time out of your day to do that. I don't think I really recognized that because I was at a very, very early stage in like, I guess, my maturity at the start of year 11. I had a very like narrow outlook on life. My mindset was fully driven by marks and, you know, pleasing people and, you know, just getting the highest grades possible. And it wasn't really working. Like I was working hard and I wasn't seeing the results. And so I think that all kind of rippled down on all aspects of my life. And so I was less conscious emotionally of the people reaching out to me. And I was less able to, you know, fully gravitate towards that trust and like really appreciate and show gratitude. And you know what I mean? I kind of just like, I think my response to that was like, I don't know, it was like I had a really crappy English test and that was it. Like I didn't try to like show my perspective.
No, I feel like you were very open in that whole situation.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
you know, you express. Oh, obviously, I think. I mean, I totally get it if there's certain things that you're not open to share, but I feel like you nonetheless you shared like a lot of stuff, which really, well, it just felt like you could trust me, and that did make me you know, feel a larger want to help you out.
Yeah. And also makes you feel better in yourself, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overall, like, how was your like experiences last year versus the year before? Like, what changed in terms of like your mindset, do you reckon?
In regards to
like, I guess study versus life.
Yeah. I mean, for me, last year in year 11, that was like the big, like, I mean, first year, like I really genuinely felt failure. I felt down from the results, or you know, just from life. But I think it was those kind of losses that made me grow. Yeah. That made me want to improve and change the things that I managed my life. Yeah. Because, well, I mean, all I did, and I'm sure, I think you talked about it as well. Your whole life is just studying. Yeah. During that first initial adjustment period to year 11. Yeah. And that, although seemed positive, it's actually counterintuitive. It actually hits you down even worse. Yeah. If you're studying 24/7 and you don't have another life. Yeah. Of hanging out with friends and caring about yourself.
And I think just because of like the personal expectations that were set on me just by my parents overall, from a very young age, I was under that mindset. I think until even year 11, but I didn't really realize it. Yeah. I kind of just said that if I study hard enough, I'll like do well, I'll feel better about myself, and everything will be good. Yeah. But it was very narrow, and you know, just having like having Asian parents, I guess, they want you to do well from like a very early age, and they don't really realize that things like tiring yourself out and, you know, not giving enough balance to the rest of your life is a very real thing. And so like year 2 to year 6, I was like chasing the straight A's. Like year 7 hit hard because I was like, okay, this is harder now. But I still started studying harder, tried to get into like all the DV1 classes, try to get like, you know, academic awards and duxes. And I think that was also because of the people I was surrounding myself with. There were people that also like my parents put a priority on marks and like duxes and titles. of everything else. And so I just chased it because I was basically looking for gratification in others. Like I cared about their opinions more than my own. And that's kind of the realization I've come to only now. In year 11, it even carried on because the way that I slightly changed my mindset. It was just that if I try all the different study strategies that someone smart does, if I just stick to it, I'll do well. Like I will do as good as them if I do everything that they do.
Yeah.
But it's not as simple as that, you know?
Yeah.
You need to take like, you know, personal parts into it.
I think, well, I'm not sure if you talked about before, but about having what is shown to the world and what isn't behind closed doors and, you know, outside of it. And with those close people around you who tried so hard and valued studying, the outside observer, all they would see is like, oh, they study a lot.
Yeah.
Therefore, they have good marks.
Yeah.
But you don't actually see what life is like at home.
The personal like insights.
Yeah, and maybe, or you definitely can't see, maybe the reason that they're doing so well is because they go out and have so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that really tripped me up a lot was, there's a lot of the, you know, the Aussie kids who are great at sport, the popular kids.
Yeah.
Yet they do so bloody well at studies. They beat us at studying.
Yeah.
And
like there's two ways you can take that. You either like take it as something demoralizing, or you say, oh, well, they've got a good work-life balance. Maybe I should try and mirror that.
Yeah.
And I think like the way that like school makes you think, it's very nihilistic. So you often come to the first realization a lot faster than you do the second. You always come to the more nihilistic one that's like, oh, they're better than me. And you know, I just didn't realize it, but I'm not as smart as them, or something like that. That's always the conclusion you come to, like straight off the bat. Just because of the way like stress builds with school. And so I think you have to kind of train yourself to realize that there's two sides to the story. They actually, you know, that kind of, you know, take it in a much more optimistic manner, in a way that's applicable to you.
Yeah.
You know, say like, oh, well, they do some sports. I also do sports. I just don't give it enough time, really.
Yeah.
I keep dodging my trainings. I keep doing all of this because I want to study. And the fact that they're doing well is because of that work-life balance. It's just something that like it's a bit hard to realize, I guess.
Yeah. Like I think in school we're always told to not compare ourselves to other people.
Yeah.
And even those inspirational quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
But
then the way school's built is to kind of compare yourself to other people.
Yeah. But so yeah. I mean, I think even though we're told not to compare ourselves to other people, I feel like it's good in some sense, because it brings out motivation.
Yeah.
That if you compare yourself to the top kids, that's the only way you can up yourself.
Yeah.
To get to that level.
Yeah.
If you're always comparing yourself to the people around you, you know, a big fish in a little pond, then you're never gonna elevate yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Where
what's that thing they say? It's like surround yourself with people smarter than you.
I was literally about to say that.
Yeah, really.
I was literally about to say, it was like Tom. It was Tom Goddard.
Yeah, Tom Goddard.
We at our chem session.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say that.
I was talking about the study.
Yeah. And then he said, you have to surround yourself with smarter people. And I think that's completely facts. Like, now I'm taking more of a conscious effort into that.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can't see behind the scene.
Yeah.
You have to, although compare yourself to other people, so you have that motivation. You have to have that open-mindedness
to realize that it's like, it's not just because they're smart. It's not just because they have natural ability. It's because they have you know, certain strategies that they use. A thing that comes with that though is like, you might take that strategy and be like, this is pure gold, like everything about it is facts, and like if I follow it, I'll end up exactly like them. But that's not like always the case, and that can be demoralizing when you realize that. So I think in year 11, I'll like look at like all the smartest kids in each of my subjects, and I'll be like, how do they study? And so I'll ask for them, and they'll just give me like a list of things that they do, and I'll follow it to the script, to the letter. And it just
wouldn't work.
It just didn't work, because at least for me, I needed a lot more, like in terms of like, I think work-life balance is like kind of like a ratio. Like you think of it as like other things like co-curricular, sport, music, stuff like that, compared to school. And for some kids, they just naturally are closer to like the school elements, the more academic stuff. And that's just the way they're built. If you're trying to do what they're doing and you're not really, you know, kind of realizing the same potential as them, it's not because you're not as good as them. it's because you need some more work life, a better work life balance.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, exactly. So don't think that you're going to perfectly align with like the people that you admire. Have that open mindedness to like to redirect it into a way that's more applicable to your life, like the advice that they give you, and don't take it as like the absolute.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, at our school, where even though I think we're taught a lot of these study strategies, I believe they do it pretty well in telling us that although this is a great strategy which worked for me, for like a state ranker, you got to find your own set of rules. And I think it applies to every aspect of life.
Yeah.
Of, not just like school. Some kids who go tutoring from kindy non-stop, just study.
Yeah.
A lot of, I think, like they're Asian kids, Asian families.
Yeah.
Some of them, maybe they're fine with that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just that they love their studies and it works well for them.
Yeah.
But maybe for a lot of us, that just maybe not it.
It's like unrealistic. Like, you can't just like look at them and think that it'll be the exact same for you if you just start mimicking whatever they just did. And so you got to like kind of recontextualize it into a way that's more personal to you, in terms of how much work to life balance you need to have. So that's what I'm saying. Like for me, you'd look at like the smartest kids, and they always tell you, oh, like, do study strategies, do this, do that. And then at the end, they'll always say like, oh, this might not work for you. But just like, this is what worked for me. I really, really just did not register that. And I was just like, okay, screw it. I'm just going to send it fully on whatever strategies they gave me and not even think about, how I am as like a human being compared to them. You got to kind of compare the personalities and more engage with the people who, are more closely aligned with the way that you think in terms of your commitments. If you understand that.
Yeah. But, with that idea of coming up with whatever works best for you, I feel like it oftentimes excuses come about as, these people who get straight A's, there's no way I can do that because it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's just a BS excuse, and a lot of times because you don't think, just because you're too lazy to put in the effort.
Yeah, it's easy to just say that like, I guess it's a part of like effort, and it's also a part of like your ability to recognize your ability, if you understand that. Like, I don't know, if it's not working for you, it's very easy to say that like, oh, I'm not smart enough, and so therefore I shouldn't try as hard to do all these different things. Like, that whole lazy mindset kind of develops when it doesn't work for, like, perfectly the way you imagined it. And so I guess the way you kind of approach that is just start trying other things, and then don't get rid of, like, if you study for an assessment, and use some of the strategies that you learned from like these people, like if you don't do well in that assessment or don't feel good going into the assessment, there has to be something wrong there. That doesn't mean everything that you did leading up to the assessment was like wrong. So you got to pick and choose. Based off your personality, the best of like the way you think, if you're the best judge of yourself. And so you just have to like select and choose a couple of the strategies, maybe try some more for the next one. Refine it. And then by the time you hit your next exam, like you're already like a fully improved person. And all the way through that, talking to your teachers, people who you genuinely can trust this kind of information and strategies with. So yeah. Okay, I guess like another really big question is like, how are we meant to be able to push through and like still be able to like enjoy ourselves in school when so much is dependent on like a mark or a rank or a number? There's so much that like builds stress, and there's so much there that you have to kind of just deal with and have that on your shoulders. How do you like be happy through all of that? Is my question. And like it's a very like tough question, because I don't think a lot of people realize the answer to that until like much later. I don't think any of us have fully realized the answer to that. But like, I guess for me at least, it's just like little things. Like, if I had a really crappy day, I'll know that I've got there's like certain things that I notice I have is like a headache, or like, I don't know, I'm like sweating or like I got like pretty red eyes, maybe like a lack of like a
You
bad
guys
sleep.
have red eyes.
Yeah, I don't know why that is as well, because I have like decent sleep now and I still have it. It's
Yeah.
whack. But yeah, if I've got like that and like I'm like spiraling out when I'm talking to people,
Yeah.
I need to calm myself down.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to like just realize like, oh, the world's against me and all of that. When you get into that frame of mind, there's not a lot you can do, because whenever, at least in my perspective, whenever I get into that like frame of mind, I like convince myself that that's the truth. Like I say it in a very rational way that like fully justifies that everything is
Damn.
bad and nothing is good. And so thinking is not going to help you at that point, at least for my case, once again. So what I do is I'll go home, I'll like play some music, and I'll like clean my room, and that'll like take like 15 minutes and I already feel better.
Yeah.
I'll like do something like, I normally have cold showers because I want to like wake myself up and study. Yeah. It's actually good, you should try it.
Yeah.
But I might take like a warmer shower. I might take like the day a lot more slow. Like
Take a warmer shower as a reward.
yeah, a reward.
Holy cow.
You know what I mean? Like, or like-
Navy
okay.
SEAL wakes up
Okay,
at
okay.
4 a.m. and takes cold showers, and as a reward, takes a warm shower. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Okay.
You were saying?
Okay,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a warm shower. I'll have
Yeah.
a bath, alright? And
Oh,
then
yeah,
I'll like,
facts.
you know the thing where like you have your ears like under the water, and then you like,
What?
if you've never done this,
Oh, you're like,
Shush.
yeah.
You blast music, alright? You
Uh-huh.
blast like your favorite, like I have like a playlist for like when I'm feeling like that. Well,
Uh-huh.
not really, but like depending on how I want
Oh,
to feel.
like sad music.
Kind of, but like depending on how I want to feel, I'll have
Oh
a
yeah,
playlist
no,
for
totally
that.
get you.
So
Yeah.
like if I want to feel better, I'll play like some happier music, or like music that's very relatable to me. Tyler the Creator, shout out.
Shout
I'll like blast his music and
Yeah.
then like have my ears like just under the water in like the tub, and I'll just be like chilling there for like a good like 30 minutes.
to drown out the sound a little bit.
Yeah, and like
Is that like a vibe?
I don't know, something that my psychologist told me is like you do that, in doing that you can
Oh,
narrow
really?
you can narrow everything down just
hell
to
yeah.
like your barest senses,
Nice.
like your smell, your touch, your ears, your
Oh,
hearing.
good stuff. Oh, okay, so like survival instincts kick in.
Literally, yeah.
It's like, oh crap, the body's like, oh yeah, I'm about to drown.
Yeah.
So let me just
No,
focus up.
that is not it. That is fully wrong.
Okay.
No, it's okay. It's like to get rid of like that anxiety. Like you
Okay,
you can
yeah, sure.
often end up in the future a lot more than you are in the present. So something to bring you back to the present is to narrow it all down to your bare
Yeah,
senses,
totally.
and only like really concentrate on that.
Yeah.
Music's a good way to do it. That's why I love playing music.
Yeah.
Then I'll like go downstairs, I'll play like more music, and like I'll just like cook myself some food, and I'll just like spend some alone time. I
Yeah.
can't really be around people when I'm like that. Like
Yeah, no, I
calling
totally get
people,
you.
yeah, calling people didn't really help me. Like okay, it's like a layered defense. You first try to talk to someone,
for sure.
and then like if you're spiraling out, that's when you need to take it back and start doing all of these like personal strategies by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like only in the really extreme circumstances, but know when it's extreme. Like if you got a headache,
Yeah.
know that like you need to calm yourself down. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, breathing exercises. Have you ever tried that?
I'm actually getting into like meditation.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's really good.
I've thought about doing it, but I've like never fully brought myself to it. I
Yeah.
kind of just like somewhat like just like do that while I'm like listening to music. I try to like really just calm myself down. Like the 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. That like before exams as well. I love doing that.
Hell yeah.
Like in an exam as well. Have you ever done that? Like you're like
Buddy, in our chemistry
Oh my
MCQ, we have like a topic test
Dude,
every week.
dude.
Bro, Nikesh is crazy with this breathing exercises. I'm next to him doing the test, and he's wearing a mask.
It's a mask,
He's
yeah.
it's so bad. No, I respect that.
Okay. But
Yeah,
that
no, I
was
respect
bad. That was bad because I was overthinking so hard during that and like
Yeah.
that test.
Yeah.
I felt like the world was against me then. Like I felt
Yeah.
like I don't know. It was a really hard test, and
No,
so
it was, yeah.
yeah. And so like I felt like, well, what other like emotion do you want us to experience except pain and misery? And I was
Yeah.
like justifying like how bad it was in my brain. Like I'm like super logical and like I like
Yeah,
philosophy
totally.
and all that crap. So I'll start like justifying it in a way that fully convinces me that everything is shit. So I get into that state. Like it was really bad then. I think that was like a genuine like psycho attack or something. I was like my leg was kicking.
No, I totally
like,
get you. I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah, and I couldn't like write. Like, and I was doing like the heavy ass breathing. I don't think
that
wasn't even breathing exercise. That was just breathing.
It feels like you're underwater.
Yeah.
It feels like you like your heart and like everything just like crunched up.
Yeah, facts.
No, I get you. And then you start like heating up and stuff.
I know. And then how are you meant to like keep working during that thing and like that whole experience? And so that's like after like 13 questions in, I just like stopped and I was just like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, it's just gonna screw me up even more. So I just like stopped. There's a couple things I regret, like, you know, I should have like, you know, handed it in, but I don't know, sometimes you need to focus on yourself. I don't know, to avoid getting into situations like that. Do this mindfulness stuff. Have you ever, there's like an app, I haven't used it, but I've heard it's good. It's like some mindfulness app and it's like meditation or something. Headspace,
boom. No, I've been like in our like exam during lockdown, I started meditating a little bit. Like right before an exam, I would just go outside, like pop up a yoga mat, and I would just sit there.
Really?
And I would like, there's like these guided meditations on YouTube. It's so good.
Really?
It's just a nice soothing voice,
Yeah.
and then they just they just like it's so good. You just sit there and they just talk you through like now imagine everything around you disappear, or like, and then they just like guide you through, take a deep breath in, and then all you do is focus on your breath. That's literally it. I think we never do that in our day-to-day lives, because think about just breathing, like if you put 100% focus into just a simple movement, and not only does that, you know, improve your focus, which I found to be the case. That's something that's why I keep on doing it. I want to improve that ability to concentrate. But then also it just lessens your stress a lot more. I heard in like a Stanford whatever like research thing, it's like our hearts, whatever, like our body movements and stuff correlate to how we're actually feeling. Right. If we breathe really fast, like naturally our heart gets faster, and then we feel more nervous. So that just kind of like spirals that thing even worse. But if we, you know, just I guess like trick our brain and just go really slowly, like breathe in, like really really slowly, that would just slow our heart rate down.
It doesn't slow just your body, but it slows like your mind too. Okay, that's cool.
And it just makes you feel so much better. So meditation, I think, even though it's a bit of a,
it seems like a very corny thing.
But it's so good.
I need to try it because my parents were like telling me about all this stuff and like podcasts I listen to, like books to read about like mental stuff. I really just need to do those because I think, I don't know, certain strategies like that that don't really correlate to studying are very relieving when like that's all you really care about during like a school day. So like having that time to just like to yourself, just like thinking in a completely different way, kind of brings you closer and closer to like having a much like more balanced lifestyle and mindset.
Like focusing on this like breathing, meditation, was it mindfulness? I think it's counterintuitive because you feel like, oh, I'm gonna waste 10 minutes of my time when I could be using that to study. But if you use that 10 minutes, which so I'm trying to like keep it a routine now. Every morning I'm gonna take 10 minutes and just do that guided meditation and see how long I can focus for. That makes my focus so much more clear. Because in our day-to-day lives, we're going at 1,000 miles per hour for every single moment, and there's just a million things in our mind. But how often do we just do absolutely nothing?
And like bring yourself
nothing
to like the present. I think and like that whole like rush of like day-to-day life, and like especially in like year 11 and 12, it really builds you up to have like, it really builds you up to like think in the future and like think about like all the things, all the fears, they come straight to the front of your brain, and they're all that you can think about. And so that's why I think mindfulness, like meditation, things like that, bringing everything down to your senses, it biologically forces you to the present in a way that's very like calming and relaxing. And so like, you know, taking that 10 minutes, like while it might just be 10 minutes, it's like, oh, I could have done like this many questions at that time, the amount of questions that you'll do after that will be like exponentially higher than 100%. What it would have been otherwise. So that's like the thing. I think all of last year, whenever I got these headaches and stuff, I would never ever just take
Take a second and slow down.
Yeah, and we were like practicing it in school and stuff, and like learning how to do. I think WLF they taught mindfulness for a little bit, and I don't know, just like all of those strategies I kind of just like threw out the window because I thought they were all corny, and like there's a lot of stigma around like that kind of frame of mind, calming yourself and meditation, all those very like extreme things that they're very strange to us, I guess. And so when I was like getting a headache or something, I wouldn't just like stop. Like I'll be like, oh, the pressure's even more. So now I need to work even harder so that I fulfill that pressure and then I'll feel better. But that's not the answer. While that might be sometimes the case, that's never the go-to mindset. You need to have like the mental health and your mental state above all other things because it helps. It's like a ripple-on effect. It'll help you interact with people, help you study. It'll help like all the aspects of your life that actually matter to you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you just take that one step back, it'll boost you so many steps forward.
Yeah. It's like I think the world is relativizing it. And relativizing is a weird word because you know how they'll say like, oh, you're in a private school or like you have all these opportunities before you, like you need to make the most of it, otherwise like you're throwing your life away. That's a very extreme way of thinking. And it doesn't help when you're feeling down. So things like that will only really come, like being able to fully experience like the opportunities will only really come to like fruition when you're like on top of like your mindset and on top of like the way that you're feeling and aware of all of it.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of strategies towards that.
Yeah. Like those feelings of stress, anxiety, I think, well, your problems, there'll always be a constant in life.
Yeah.
That's also something I read in the book. You know, like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F.
Yeah,
book.
I heard about that.
Like in that book, well, a big thing that I took out of it is, we're always gonna have these issues and challenges in our life, but it's just about how well we're able to adapt to them. Like thinking, like right now, in high school, it feels like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because we have our HSC.
Yeah.
Think about it. In 5 years' time, we're gonna do so much. We're gonna have so much more things to worry about. We're actually being an adult, having taxes, whatever, our jobs, getting into, a good firm that you want to get into.
Yeah.
But so, those problems aren't gonna go away.
Yeah, that kind of like that whole idea that you have to have like a stable, like a good life. It's very easy to think that what's happening right now has total bearing on what happens later. But what really matters is like, obviously it's a good thing to like have as many options as you can at the end of year 12. But that's not the be all and end all. Like the way that I think of the HSC is like, if you're going to get somewhere, you will. It's just that if you don't do as well in the HSC, it's just like, it's a time lapse. It's not an ability, gap. So if you don't do well in the HSC or you like mess up on one exam, that isn't the be all and end all. That is like just like a small little gimmick in like the long list that is your life. And so yeah, like it's nice to think that like if you screw up one assessment, there's every opportunity to fix that up. And there's a million ways to get into whatever course you want. And while it might be easier, it might be like, I don't know, faster.
A little bit easier.
Yeah, I guess faster is the word. If you like do really well, like that's the only difference that happens. Like you only have like a year or two difference if you take like a different pathway. And so yeah, really listen into those like kind of talks that we get. We have like all the opportunities in the world for career advisors at Knox. And so make use of them and realize that, if you don't get in the way that you need to, it isn't the end. And messing up when you actually studied hard, isn't a bad thing. Like the fact that you're studying hard matters more than anything else. The only difference is you have to just improve and, do better. Just relativizing it and pausing and taking that step back will work miles of difficulty away.
No, but I mean, one thing that I want to rewind a little bit. One thing that I did want to talk about is kind of blowing things out of proportion.
Yeah.
And in regards to letting out your emotions.
Yeah.
Before you talked about music, which is a big part of your life.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I was like really curious about. When you're sad, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of kids, they play even sadder music.
Yeah, and then
to let out the emotions.
Yeah. The way I see it is just like you play whatever mood you want to feel, and then you'll feel it.
No, that is true. Yeah, like music is a powerful thing.
But yeah, like that. Yeah, I don't know. Why it's so cool to me is because like raw expression of whatever the artist is feeling, and like
Yeah.
like if you look, I don't know. I always talk about Tyler the Creator, but Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
If you look at his oldest music, not the newest.
This is a true Tyler the Creator fan.
True Tyler the Creator fan. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day when he was like a teenager, when he started making music, all he did was like it was very like. It's easy to call it immature, but all that was like a very raw expression of what he thought was cool.
Yeah.
And then as you progress through his music, you slowly see him mature in a way that he propagates messages that are going to benefit other people. Because if you look at his older stuff, it's really like it's like dark, like really dark.
Okay.
And he says it because it's like apparently funny.
Sure.
Yeah, but then as you progress forward, he slowly like it was so cool, like just like going through his whole discography.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you slowly see his mindset change, and like the music, the sound is getting amazing. Like
Yeah.
right now, it's amazing his sound. But like the lyrics, he starts to talk about his personal issues, and it slowly stems on into a way that like he's like attained like the perfect mindset towards music.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like in a world that needs probably more happiness, like the only thing you can really do is just make other people feel happy and show that relatability. Make yourself vulnerable, and they'll inspire yourself to do similar things. I see that in Tyler, so that's why I love listening to Tyler when I'm like sad, because some of the lyrics are like they hit so different.
You can relate.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think I don't know, because even in like some of the earlier years, I had like there were a few friends of mine, and they were saying how they had like playlists specifically which are all sad music.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you do that to yourself? When you're sad, why would you play even sadder music? I guess it matches the tone. I think I've like tried it out maybe once. I was like, in that moment, I'm like, you express it even more, and you're like, you're even sadder.
Yeah.
But like, is that really beneficial to you?
I think initially, like doing a little bit of it is good, and I think the main appeal of all of it is it's meant to be relatable. It's not just like the lyrics, but the sound, and it kind of makes you feel like you're in a movie, like you know what I mean.
Do you think? Yeah, I know. Like I know that's a vibe, but like
it kind of allows you to get lost in your thoughts.
Like there's like TikTok edits, Instagram edits.
Yeah,
that's so sick. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like so lost in. I'm like, oh my god. I'm in a movie, but like. Yeah. That's great and all, but that's not real life. Does that really help you out in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, I think there is a limit to it that you have to kind of set on yourself. And like the certain people that you'll talk to, and like they really allow their emotions to get control of them. I'm kind of the opposite. I kind of like am in control of my emotions, and I kind of like think the way that I want to feel.
Okay.
Which is pretty weird, but like it's I don't know. I'm like getting better at like. Kind of expressing myself, but some people, I don't know, that whole like sad playlist thing. Some people you kind of just like see that they're very comfortable in their own skin, and so like just like crying and stuff makes them feel more them, and so it's not necessarily a bad thing. And so you'll listen to sad music, you'll relate to it, you'll feel even sadder, and then you'll cry about it. But then like there are people that can bounce back very quickly.
That ability to bounce back. That's really important.
Yeah. It's all like personality.
I mean, I think letting out your emotions every now and then, it's good because it allows you to restart. Sometimes your emotions are bottled up for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And they may reach a point where all of that just hits a brick wall.
Yeah.
And you got to somehow let everything out.
Yeah.
Like during the yearly period in year 11, I mean, that was tough for all of us. But for me, it was definitely tough.
Yeah.
And it was so hard because, well, firstly, we're in lockdown. But then during that period, it was also like prefect choosing period.
Oh, yeah. It was like a massive accumulation of like stress.
And that was, pretty big.
People weren't even like talking about it is the other thing you kind of notice. And there's really collective like tough times.
Yeah.
It's like it's easy not to talk, I guess. It's not the instinct isn't to just talk to other people. Like while it should be like a better thing.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of embrace that like shared experience. The instinct is to just like kind of grit through it, and like that's like the whole image that we're always created in schools, like be a man and like just tank it through, and like by the end of the day you'll feel better for gritting your teeth and just getting through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes like in moments like that, you need to open up. And I think all of last year, I never opened up. I don't think I opened up once. And the only time I'd ever open up was to make other people just realize how trash my life is, and then hopefully feel better for that.
Yeah. No,
but
I
it wouldn't
get
make
you.
me feel better. It wouldn't make them feel better. It would make me feel better. So I don't know. There's a limit. There's like I see everything as like a spectrum. Like
100%.
you don't go all the way to one end.
Yeah.
You don't all the way bottle something up, but you also don't tell everyone everything. You know that one week where I was just like saying, you know, every single bit of my problems to every single person I knew.
Yeah.
God, that was like just trash, because it didn't make me feel that much better, and it kind of made them feel worse. And like whenever they'd give me like advice, I'd come up with like a comprehensive
Rebuttal.
rebuttal. And like if they asked if I was okay, like I'd comprehensively argue that I'm not. And all that would really do is just like a cyclical cycle of just making me sad and making them sad. So there is a limit to even opening up. I know it's a weird thing to say, but like I immediately jumped to the other side of the spectrum, from like not bottling up to like opening up about absolutely everything. It can actually be a bad thing. I don't know. It made it more on my mind, my problems. It brought it more to the front. And then like whenever people would see me, like I'll get kind of like annoyed the fact that they see the sympathy and like that constant like state of like, I don't know, like, you know, kind of reaping off all of the sympathy that you get from other people. You're looking for like, I don't know, external opinions to help yourself feel more, I don't know, valid. And it doesn't really help. So you know what I mean? But yeah, okay, I'm not saying opening up is a bad thing, but I'm saying that everything that you do, every bit of advice you get, every mindset you have, don't always fully invest yourself into like a very narrow frame of mind. Like, you know, kind of experiment and like find like your place on that spectrum that's comfortable with you. Same goes for studying, you know, overall.
No, but yeah, in that period of those 2 weeks, where you were going through that, what do you think? I mean, as a friend, how could they have helped you?
It's a hard question, just because I swear, like, I don't know, I asked everyone, like, you know, for advice and stuff like that, and sometimes like I think it was just the frame of mind that I was in, but like I was like kind of like turning down like the advice they'll give me. But like no matter how much you disbelieve something, there's always a glimmer of truth, like a glimmer of like fact that's somewhat relatable to you. So you need to kind of just find all of those little bits and then piece it together in a way that frames your mindset. You know, it's easy to just say that was bad advice. You know, it was way too general. You didn't realize how they didn't realize how sad I am, or like how bad everything is. It's easy to say that. But if they give you like advice and they're actually like, you know, being vulnerable enough to like open up to you and like even, you know, share about their experiences as well, it's very easy to discredit it. So pick and choose the bits that are relevant to you and then shape your mindset. Same thing goes for, you know, a lot of other things too.
Yeah, like asking for friends' advice, I think definitely a lot of times it's good. But then I feel like you should also be cautious of who you ask and how you ask it. And at what times.
Exactly.
Because there's been times where I've been going through a little bit of a rough spot, which I guess not everyone will understand. You know, they don't see like the full picture. They just see, oh, it's black and white. But in the past, I've like, you know, asked certain friends. I've talked about this topic, whatever, and then they just give kind of like the
cliches,
just kind of a cliche like dog answer, which like, oh yeah, obviously, but then they're like, oh, why don't you snap out of it?
Exactly.
But it's not that
you know
simple.
you know the word overthink. I hate it so much because I don't know, it's weird, like the way that my mind works is I'll try to like justify everything and every feeling, and try to make sense of everything, and then whenever I'd like explain it, like I'd actually build up the courage to like tell someone else about it, and they're just like, oh, stop overthinking. You know what I mean?
And that just like smacks you down even further.
Exactly. It just like you're trying to get back up and they're pushing you back down. And to be fair, there is a degree of truth in it. As bad as it feels to hear it, sometimes there is like a degree of truth in it. It's just like the stepping stones to get to that place where you're not like overthinking. Or like in your case, like, you know, snap out of it. snapping out of it isn't something you can just do. There's like a million little pathways that you need to take in order to reach that final like outcome. Like, you know, like in schools and stuff, they'll have those posters around saying like, be yourself and like have no regrets and like,
Yeah.
you know, take a leap. They're very easy to just like disregard because you know, school's pretty tough and like that's like the last thing that you want to hear. It sounds so optimistic that you think it's bad.
Yeah.
And so I think those posters, again, they lack the stepping stones to get there. And so throughout, it's kind of like a personal process of developing your mindset, refining it, getting advice, and then finding the good bits, and then slowly piecing it all together.
Yeah.
From like people you trust, information, read books, podcasts, everything. Piece it all together, and then find a place where you're comfortable with not only like yourself and your feelings, but like how you approach like life and like the kind of conversations you'd like to have. If that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, with like those asking friends or even reading books kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're in like a vulnerable position, and when we ask for, you know, what do you think? I think naturally all of us already have a bias of what we want them to say.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes it might not be even best. Well, I guess sometimes it is. I mean, just like for the close people around you on their outlook on what the situation is.
Yeah.
But if you're there just to ask someone whatever, just to make yourself feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will always work because a lot of people, they won't have the same outlook as you.
Yeah.
And that might slap you down even further.
And then you end up looking for sympathy and you end up like saying like, oh, well, it's actually worse than you think. Like something as simple as that is not going to work.
Yeah.
But often at times, like it kind of does. Like, you know, people would tell me overthinking and I'd hate hearing the word overthink.
Yeah.
And like my parents would always like reinforce that, like say, don't overthink. There is it like now that I've kind of rationalized everything, you know, gone through all those processes.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a bit of truth in that.
Yeah.
Like if you think too deeply about anything, you're gonna reach like a pretty pessimistic outcome. You know, like if you just like keep thinking and like say it's, look at like how like assessments are structured or how hard a question is.
Yeah.
If you keep like layering it on, like it can make it seem like the world's about to end. It's very easy to get into that frame of mind. So I guess the easiest way out is just, well, there is no really easy way out, but do the short-term things like calming yourself down, do the mindfulness stuff.
Yeah.
Then do the piecing together of bits of information.
Yeah.
And then slowly structure your way. Wherein you can, you know, get out of a rut.
Yeah. And, you know, that idea of not overthinking, that big booming word that you hate.
Yeah.
I mean, I overthink a lot as well.
Yeah.
A little thing, it would just be on my mind 24/7, bang, 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 bang. But I think I've been able to improve at that a bit better. So I think that's why it's kind of this hope, because these things we can improve upon.
Yeah.
And I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, like one thing that I adopted, one thing that I've learned from like a self-improvement YouTube video, it was all about this idea called radical acceptance.
Which means,
like basically, you know, life, there's constantly ups, downs, constantly. And instead of, you know, resisting to it, thinking, you know, this is some absurd event which happened. I can't believe this friend said this to me. I can't believe this English mark I got isn't that good. Instead of like resisting to that, fighting back to, but I did this, I did that, I did this, and you know, I didn't actually do anything wrong. That makes the recovery process even harder.
So you kind of have to just go with like, like careless, a little bit careless,
and just what he said is just kind of just surf along with the wave. Whatever life takes you. And you know, for example, your friend just says something which was just out of pocket and just disrespectful. When they didn't understand the full story. Instead of, you know, going back, you know,
and just
walking
retaliating
back and thinking, oh my god, why did he say that? Just think, and what he said in the video and what I say to myself, like the exact word, it's you just say, oh, cool, that happened. now what do we have to do next?
Yeah.
Like, just adopt that. Okay, cool. It's just a natural part of life. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Like if you like, and yeah, and that way you can kind of like see every obstacle as something that like is gonna better yourself. You know, like with Marx as well, with like a bad like emotional or social like situation.
Yeah.
Getting out of that will help you a lot. Like I had like a pretty, I told you about this. I had like a pretty like rough relationship with like a teacher overseeing my leadership, and like my leadership was something I was very proud of. Like
Yeah.
I was happy to be there.
Sure.
But that slowly, that whole proudness kind of just wore away, and I felt less and less like devoted to my role because of this relationship with my with the teacher.
Yeah.
And it was a lack of communication from both ends.
Totally.
Because once you understand both perspectives, it's much easier to come to terms with it and move on. Like, you know, go surf the wave. I think I was very opposed to it. Like, I would try like a couple things to try and improve the situation, and it wouldn't get much better. And then I wouldn't address that. I wouldn't communicate.
Yeah.
It starts spiraling out, and then it starts to look like everything is bad. And so then you start opposing, you know, the way that everything's going. So slightly just care a little bit less, and like stop being so attached to the way that you feel. You know, while it might be genuine emotion, don't feel so attached to it that it restrains you.
Yeah.
Rather move with it. Say that it's like a learning experience. Like see everything as a learning experience. And then try to just rationally approach like the situation.
Yeah. I think a lot of times when we're in these vulnerable positions, we have a very small tunnel vision.
Yeah.
We don't see the big view of things.
Yeah.
And when we hear our friends say, "Why are you even overthinking about this?"
Yeah.
In that moment, we're like, obviously, we wouldn't understand. But in the months that pass, in the weeks that pass, we look back and think, "Oh, it really wasn't anything."
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in certain times.
Yeah.
Depending, but I think what I've found to be quite useful for me is like journaling.
Oh, I do that as well.
Reflecting on whatever's on your mind.
I should have been a little bit more personal with mine, because I kind of showed it to people and then they called it overthinking, and it kind of made things worse.
Yeah, I think
it should be personal.
It should be personal. Like, I mean, myself, I would just like write it really messy.
Yeah.
Write in my own, own words.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm feeling, whatever's on my mind. No one's seeing it, but it's just, you just get it out.
Yeah.
And it's basically like talking to a therapist.
Yeah.
Because, when you say it out,
it's like self-therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it stops you from bottling it up, and then it makes you come to terms with everything.
Yeah.
Another thing that I realized when I was doing that journaling stuff is like after that really like tough 2-week period that I had.
Yeah.
I was like at the end of it, that's when I started journaling, and like my tone was like so negative and like so like the world's about to end, like everything is bad.
Yeah. Totally.
Kind of tone, and I think that like the biggest healer to all of that is like just time, and just like waiting it out.
Time.
Yeah. And like it's not that like the times are going to be tough, like getting through those times, that they're like being able to endure for that period until things get better isn't an easy process. But like using the other strategies that we're talking about, you can get back to the present, and then you can come up with a much more rational solution. And like an application of that is initially I was so negative and pessimistic about my relationship with this teacher. I wanted to get out of the leadership position. I wanted to, get out of the leadership position and, just run away from the problems. And just like see that, like I was given a bit of advice about how to approach the situation. I followed it and it didn't work. And like it seemed like nothing changed. So it was very easy to like, become irrational. After like a week's period, I was talking to another teacher, and now we just, I think it was like a couple of days ago, we had a conversation with 2 mediating teachers, and like you can see that it's a very rational solution to a hard, like tough problem, and I feel a lot better for it. Like it's not something that's dwindling on my mind. Say if I like just gave up the position straight away, because I was felt like I wasn't getting heard, that would be the easy way out, and like that kind of guilt would be on my mind forever.
Yeah.
But overcoming it, now I feel like a better leader. I feel like I can talk to
stronger.
people. I feel stronger. So I just coming back stronger is something that comes with time, and giving yourself that time to rationalize and readjust.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all, like, when we have problems, we want to escape them.
Yeah.
That's inevitable.
Yeah.
But to succeed, well, obviously you're gonna have these problems, and it's just about if you're able to overcome them.
Yeah, and like the defense mechanism is to go against the grain, but sometimes you need to just like give yourself time, and like that way, everything seems a lot smoother. You can kind of ride the wave while doing your own little bit of steering.
100%.
And then life seems a lot easier because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll wrap it up there. We talked a lot about, a lot of different things.
For a long time.
It's been a long day. This is our, like...
My throat's sore, bro.
Your third take, out the take.
I need another banana.
Yeah, we're gonna eat more banana. No.
Shush.
We're gonna eat another... Never mind, just don't worry about that. Okay, we're gonna take it easy later, but I mean, I really hoped you learned something, because I definitely did.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that, didn't cross my mind, it now has.
Yeah.
How to be a better friend, how to cope with these issues a bit better.
Yeah.
And just know, if you're going through something, we've all gone through it as well.
Yeah, you're not... Well, obviously, like, your situation is unique, and you shouldn't feel worse for that. For the fact that, like, other people are also going through tough stuff.
Yeah.
But there's unique strategies that everyone's tried.
Yeah.
And so the idea is to get a couple of them. Like, we mentioned mindfulness, we mentioned meditation, we mentioned music and other things.
Yeah.
Using those things and, like, as outlets, and experimenting with them, see what works. And then, with time, you'll feel a lot better for it.
For sure.
But
really hope you enjoyed it. Really hope you took a lot out of it.
Yeah.
And, really hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
And, follow us. Firstly, Nikesh, thank you, it was a long day.
It was a long day indeed.
It was a big day. Nikesh really pulled through for us.
Surely,
But follow us on Instagram.
Teenage Hurdles.
Follow us on Instagram,
Repost.
TikTok, at Teenage Hurdles. Repost it. It really helps a lot. And follow us on Spotify, iTunes, maybe YouTube. Hopefully it's on YouTube now. And
if you enjoyed this, just go ahead and then let other people know.
It's always really appreciated.
Massive W.
Massive W. So my name is Henry.
My name is Nikesh.
This is Teenage Hurdles, a podcast.
100.
And we will see you later. Bye.